time-traveling soul creates China's basketball GOAT. Please like, share and subscribe. Episode 61. Lillard did too. After the warm-up, players from both teams sat on the bench and waited for the referee to announce the start of the game. Damian, how many points are you going to win in a while? Poof. Hearing Wang Zhelin's words, Lillard responded casually, but he quickly reacted, and the Gatorade in his mouth spurted out. Man, the opponent is a team with 2 consecutive championships. You can't look down on the other side just because the Lakers stopped in the second round for 2 consecutive years. You are too inflated. As Lillard said, although the Lakers have been out of the second round for 2 consecutive years, the Lakers are still the favorite seed in the hearts of fans and the media. I don't even look at the teams that eliminated the Lakers in the past 2 years. The Dallas Mavericks in 2011, the German chariot Dirk Nowitzki's performance that year, I don't know how many people's glasses are blown up. This year's Thunder team, the overall runner-up team, is not only young, but also has unlimited potential. Although it was only a preseason game, the Blazers were facing a big enemy, and there was a tense atmosphere on the bench. Of course I know the Lakers are strong, but that's the state of their entire team. Kobe and Howard won't play tonight. I don't think the Lakers can be so strong. We can't win in the face of a remnant army. Doesn't that mean that we are very poor? During the warm-up just now, Wang Zhelin was also checking the comprehensive scores of the players on both sides. The Lakers on the opposite side are among the bottom 5 in the starting 5. The strongest is the 86-year-old Pau Gasol, which is 10 points lower than the rating in the international arena, and has dropped by 2 grades, but it is still very strong. Next is the old man of 82, Charity of 77, I am a good person and never let go of my elbows, World Peace, Judy Meeks of 68, and Robert Thackeray of 63. Especially seeing that when his opponent Robert Thackeray scored only 63 in this game, Wang Zhelin's smile was a bright one. On the Blazers side, the strongest player is team boss Aldridge, who has a rating of 88. The strongest killer is the mid-range shooter with a rating of 93. Next up is Lillard with an 82 rating. After not seeing him for a few months, Ligue has become a little stronger. French Pippen in 78, Good Guy Matthews in 76, J.J. Hickson in 75. As for Wang Zhelin, his strength is much stronger than when he first participated in the Olympic Games. Player, Wang Zhelin. Body hidden attributes. Lower body strength, 92 to 93. Upper body strength, 88 to 90. Speed, 65. Power, 71 to 73. Agility, 68. Bounce, 78. Bullet speed, 75. Physical fitness, 68 to 73. Offensive ability, countdown, 70 to 80. Layup, 86. Mid-range, 74 to 80. Long range, 62. Dunks, 70. Passes, 62. Ball possession, 61 to 68. Free throws, 78 to 84. Breakthrough, 56 to 65. Defensive ability, external defense, 50 to 55. Internal defense, 70 to 72. Rebounding, 70 to 76. Blocks, 65 to 69. Steals, 50 to 52. Overall rating, 79. Starter. Evaluation, only 1 step away from the strength of the star. Talent skills, innate power, purple diamond. This talent allows the host to have max-level strength attributes through acquired training. Dunk Tianzuan, gold plus. After making physical contact with the opponent's player within 3 seconds, use your body to forcibly collide with the dunk to slightly increase the success rate of the dunk. The 3 attributes of dunk, bounce, and bounce speed can all be increased by 6 points within 3 seconds. If the player completes the dunk, he will give teammates an inspirational effect and restores teammates' stamina by 7%. The Overlord of the Restricted Area, Silver Plus, increases shooting ability by 4 points when backing offense in the 3-second zone. 5 months. Do you know how I came here during these 5 months? Compared with the Olympic training camp, Wang Zhelin's defensive ability has improved a lot, and this time the ability improvement can be said to be obtained through his own efforts. Several months of training also allowed his physical fitness to break through from 68 to 73, which was considered to further make up for his weakest shortcoming. 73's physical strength is still not enough for a heavy center like him, but as long as it is properly distributed, he should be able to play 30 to 35 minutes per game. Looking at Aldridge and Lillard, the 2 80-plus tycoons, Wang Zhelin's new idea became firmer. The sky is falling, and the Schwanda combination is holding on, so if I touch the fish occasionally, it shouldn't matter. According to the fusion time of the gold card, Raheem's offensive skills are expected to be fully inherited by the end of the year. That's when his score exceeds 80, which is a good time to emerge from the abyss. Through such a comparison between the 2 teams, both in terms of overall strength and top combat power, the Blazers lineup is stronger than the F2 leader, the Lakers. There is a saying that a landing phoenix is not as good as a chicken, so why not slaughter it now? Wang Zhelin doesn't want to let go of such a good opponent that can both boost his confidence and reputation. Damien, Coach Terry has said that the main players like LaMarcus won't play for long, and we still have to rely on our two brothers to win. After speaking, Wang Zhelin gave the latter a you-know look. How can I help you? Lillard held back for a long time, and finally said what Wang Zhelin wanted to hear most. Well, it's actually very simple, Wang Zhelin thought for a while, and said seriously, after LaMarcus and the others are off the court, you can give me the ball as soon as you have a chance, and I promise to hit the 2.13-meter thin bamboo pole on the opposite side. Son, if you don't have a chance, you can just shoot by yourself, don't be polite, this will make it easier for me to rebound. Our country pays attention to a good start. As long as we cooperate sincerely in this game, we will definitely be able to produce a beautiful statistic. Lillard's eyes widened and he looked at Wang Zhelin dully. I didn't expect you, a guy with thick eyebrows and big eyes, to be able to say things like this without blushing whenever you want to. It's wonderful, you still want to work with me. Of course, if you have the opportunity, I will pass it on as soon as possible, so that you can experience the feeling of scoring on the head of the two-time regular season MVP. It is still consecutively one finished, Wang Zhelin pointed. Two-time regular season MVP. Hearing this, Lillard instantly fixed his gaze on the opposite Steve Nash. Since the beginning of the new century, in terms of personal honor, Nash is undoubtedly the highest among point guards, and he is also a big mountain in the hearts of Lillard's juniors. Sounds like it's not bad. And in my heart, Wang Zhelin put his arms around Lillard's shoulders and said very sincerely, your future height is not necessarily worse than Steve Nash. No, I firmly believe that as long as you and I join forces, we will definitely win the Nash capital. A championship trophy I've never had before. These words are obviously suspected of exaggeration, but they are very useful to an arrogant person like Lee Lad. Make a deal. Damien, congratulations on making the right choice. After successfully launching Lillardella into the water, Wang Zhelin smiled gratified. After all, it's much better for two people to carry it than one person. If you are really asked after the game that you are suspected of scoring points, the big deal is to say, our two brothers have done it. Hello everyone, this is the Celestial Sports Channel, which is broadcasting the NBA's 2012-13 preseason game. The players on both sides of the game are the Lakers at home and the Trail Blazers away. The Chinese player Wang Zhelin is playing now. He will start the game in this game. Let us hope that he can adjust his state and bring you a wonderful game. On the far side of the ocean, with Wang Zhelin joining the Trailblazers, they naturally became another home team in the hearts of Chinese fans. The top officials of the Celestial Sports Channel also began to add the Blazers games to the primary broadcast list of the basketball channel. Episode 62, Tacit Understanding. Back on the American side, the game finally started. Wang Zhelin and Robert Thackeray came to the middle circle, ready to jump the ball. In fact, Thackeray is not a thin bamboo pole like Wang Zhelin said. On the contrary, at 2.13 meters, he still has a weight of 122 kilograms. Among the players in this draft, he can rank in the top 5 in tonnage. But unfortunately, standing opposite him is Wang Zhelin, who is 2.16 meters tall and weighs 130 kilograms. This makes the burly Thackeray look much thinner in front of Wang Zhelin. With the referee's whistle, under the watchful eyes of Staples fans, Wang Zhelin easily won the jump ball. After Lillard received the ball, he directly hung up and started to speed up, putting his body in a state of full sprint soon. The speed of 94 is really fast. Lillard, who crossed halftime with Batum almost at the same time, rushed to the left three-point line at the top of the arc while dribbling the ball. Nash was quick to defend, but Lillard, who was not good at defending and was still one step behind, was left behind by Lillard. Big Gasol, who was near the left free throw line, quickly made up the defense and wanted to form a double team with Nash. Lillard continued to go deep to the free throw line and suddenly stopped, avoiding the supplement and throwing the ball to the backboard. Wang Zhelin was already in place, and the shark went out to sea. Boom. Air relay. Celestial stage, commentary seat. The Lakers really can't let it go like this. Are the players defending him all asleep? When a commentator from Celestial Sports Channel was halfway through speaking, he noticed that the female partner beside him suddenly stepped on his foot, and a roar from the chief director came from his earphones. Bastard, it's Wang Zhelin who scored the goal now, will you explain, and the person next to him will come back quickly? The female commentator next to him immediately answered, beautiful, the Trailblazers had an alley-oop at the beginning. The timing of this pass was just right. Wang Zhelin's awareness of running without the ball is top-notch. 2 o'clock. Pretty spread. Dude, your deductions are great too. After scoring the goal, Wang Zhelin and Lillard gave high fives while returning to defense. On the Lakers side, Artest stared at Thackeray, who was late and seemed to be complaining about why he was so slow in returning to defense, revealing such a large space for the opposing player. The latter hurriedly raised his hand, indicating that it was his own pot. At this time, Thackeray's heart was full of grievances. He was the number 8 pick in the first round, and I was only in the second round. Can I have the same physical fitness? Offensive and defensive transition, Thackeray sent the ball to Nash. Nash had just advanced to half-court, and Lillard, who was so excited, directly pressed him and pressed for half-court. Now coming is the famous two-time regular season MVP Steve Nash, the idol in many people's hearts. And today, Damian Lillard, I'm going to face my idol. See if I can't prevent him. Looking at Lillard, who gave him a provocative look, Nash smiled and did not respond. Nash has seen too many such juniors. If everyone has to say the future is yours, wouldn't he be annoyed to death? I saw that Nash used his skillful and flexible skills to evade Lillard's defense and kept the ball steady. When Wang Zhelin checked Nash's rating, he was surprised by the opponent's 98 possession. 2 points higher than Lillard, almost 99. Although Nash is 38 this year and his rating has dropped from the peak to 82, only a little higher than Lillard, he still has two talents. One is a gold-level marksman. After receiving a pass from a teammate, the ease of shooting will be reduced by 7% within 3 seconds. The other is just a brand new talent that he has never seen before, which can be regarded as unlocking a new posture. Team leader, gold. After a brief possession of the ball, all teammates' offensive ability increases by 5 points for 8 seconds. After dunking Tianzuan, another group buff skill. The two-time regular season MVP really has top hard goods in hand. Leaving Lillard, who also has a poor defense, behind him, Nash went straight to the three-point line. The nearest Matthews decisively gave up Judy Meeks and charged towards Nash. Although Nash's career scoring is not that gorgeous, everyone knows that as long as the win Sun wants, he can also become a first-class scorer in the league. Meeks is not stupid. After seeing the defender leave, he cuts to the inside line decisively. Nash sees an opportunity to give the ball to Meeks. Unexpectedly, the first time the Lakers scored would be completed by Meeks. Meeks really didn't expect that he would go straight to the Blazers' basket so easily. He flicked his wrist very excitedly and threw the ball to the basket. Roll. Meeks' shot was directly swept off the field by Wang Zhelin with a big hat. Little braised egg, the basket is my territory, it's not suitable for you. The frame protection was successful. Wang Zhelin glanced at Meeks' bare head contemptuously. Meeks looked stunned. Didn't you say that Chinese players have always been low-key and humble? Why doesn't this guy look like his senior Yao Hei at all? This shot instantly boosted the fighting spirit of the Blazers, and the guys on the bench were constantly waving towels. Alas, the crooked nuts are so pitiful, they don't even know what to say. The little braised egg in front of him seemed to be lost in confusion, and Wang Zhelin couldn't help but cast a sympathetic look at it. The right to the ball belongs to the Lakers, and the referee signaled to serve the sideline. The Lakers served the ball with Big Gasol. He successfully solved this world problem and found the old man who ran out of space through cover. Of course, the old man can't miss this kind of big vacancy. With the familiar muscle memory, he makes a three-point shot. Hollow hit. Sozi. 3:2. Brother, your defense is too strained. It's time to practice when you go back. This time, Wang Zhelin's poisonous tongue was directed at his teammates. Mine. Lillard blushed, and the word embarrassment was about to come out. After receiving the pass, Lillard moved toward the front court, and Nash took a defensive posture. Unfortunately, it's useless. When Nash rushed over, Lillard turned sideways to block the opponent's outstretched hand. After a physical collision, he pulled the ball in the opposite direction and turned around to break through. When he reached the free throw line, Lillard looked at Wang Zhelin on the left. Big Gasol was worried that Thackeray would not be able to defend, so he moved to the left. It's a pity that it was hit. Big Gasol thought he saw through Lillard, but he didn't know that the latter had already reached the second floor. Lillard grabbed the ball and threw it to the right side of the court. Aldridge. At this point, Pau Gasol was out of position, and Aldridge, who had the opportunity to open the space, shot from his most comfortable mid-range position and scored 2 points steadily. 4:3. Coach Terry on the sidelines has always asked assistant coach David Vanderpool to record the performance of the players on the ball, especially the two rookies Wang Zhelin and Lillard. In just 2 rounds at the beginning, the 3 little guys appointed by the Blazers management as the core have already cooperated once each, and the result is undoubtedly satisfactory. Although there are still some flaws, such as Lillard's deficiencies on the defensive end to be improved, but these flaws are not overshadowed. Lillard, a senior, has a very good view of the overall situation. Wang Zhelin has also done a good job in finishing and defense, and Aldridge's shooting is always trustworthy. The reports that the general manager and the boss asked for have been handed over. Episode 63, First Preseason Win. Next, Nash found the Lakers' rookie Thackeray this year, giving the latter a chance to show himself. Thackeray's advantage in being selected is that his physical fitness is not bad and his tonnage is sufficient. Although he is a rough guy with little skills, he still has the possibility of becoming a blue-collar worker. It's a pity that his so-called physical advantage is too fragile in front of Wang Zhelin. Thackeray chose to beat Wang Zhelin to no avail. Seeing that there was not much time, he could only choose a lame turnaround jumper. Snapped. The sound of hammering came, and those who didn't know it thought Thackeray was paying tribute to the team boss Black Mamba who was watching the game. Just as Wang Zhelin turned around and was about to take off his rebound, a dark shadow suddenly appeared. Lillard. My board. My board. Lillard didn't care so much. After he took off the rebound, he directly started the fast break. Batum and Matthews on both sides quickly responded, forming a 3-on-1 situation in the front court. Artest must have been unable to guard against the bombardment of the three without his elbows, so he wisely chose to give up. Lillard assisted Batum in the alley-oop, and the latter completed a gorgeous basket-bombing performance. The Trailblazers started with a 6-3 run. OMG. When Portland also became a city of alleys, it seems that the fans in the league are blessed. The two announcers on the sidelines of Staples were also amazed by the 2 alley-oops that the Blazers started with. Such visual effects are not inferior to the Clippers next door that always want to usurp power. The 2 commentators looked at each other and nodded. Blow, blow hard. If the league can really add another vacant city, it can also share the traffic of the Clippers. If it wasn't because of Lillard's carelessness that caused Nash to run out of the open three-pointer, the Lakers should now have nothing. However, several of the Lakers' offenses failed to complete as expected, which was enough to hurt. Wang Zhelin felt that he overestimated the opponent, or underestimated his teammates. It's just the preseason. Many of the team's leading stars don't even play, and they basically leave opportunities to young people. However, Portland is a team made up of young people, and the team boss Aldridge was just injured at the end of last season, so it makes sense to use it to find him in the preseason. Therefore, this broken Lakers naturally seems a little too weak in the face of the Blazers who are in full condition. After the first quarter of the game, the Trailblazers played wave after wave of offensive frenzy, leading the Lakers by 14 points with 31-17. Although Nash has a strong defensive willingness, he has to admit that he is a defensive colander on the court. As for Big Gasol's defense is very good, Adiz is the type of offense, the two formed a mutual explosion. The Blazers are all dominant in the remaining 3 positions, and it is difficult for the Lakers not to fall behind. Wang Zhelin scored 8 points and 3 rebounds, one of which was robbed by someone. Lillard was organizing his teammates in the first quarter. He didn't have many shots. He only made a 3-pointer, but he had 5 assists. Aldridge only had a team-high 10 points. The 3-man play helped the Blazers take such a big lead. At the end of the break, Coach Terry, who advocated mutual trust and positive reinforcement to win the game, gave encouragement and praise to Wang Zhelin, Ade and Lillard after seeing such outstanding performances. Sometimes it's better to have a passionate coach than a cold coach, at least as far as young players are concerned. As for young people, it is always easy to be enthusiastic and easy to fail. At this time, they need an elder to teach and encourage them. And Coach Terry is such an excellent elder, which can be known from the comments of the players and coaches later. LaMarcus, Damian, and King, all 3 of you are doing great, rest now, and you'll be playing again in a while. Although the preseason is more confrontational than the summer league, the team mainly focuses on lineup running in and tactical training. Therefore, despite Wang Zhelin's excellent performance, Coach Terry made a large-scale personnel adjustment. After the 3-minute break, the Trailblazers and the Lakers both replaced their rotations by coincidence. On the Blazers side, J.J. Hickson, Sasha Lovick, Nolan Smith, Will Barton, and Jared Rivers were replaced. The core of the rotation is naturally the most capable Hickson. Although Hickson gave himself a bad face when he arrived, Wang Zhelin still recognized the opponent's strength very much. The average of 12 plus 10 per game is enough for any team to hang around. Jianlian during the Nets period is basically this level of strength. The players who were replaced looked happy, because it meant that they were very likely to enter the 15-man roster in the regular season. The players who were not called by their names looked lonely. They seemed to have met the fate of being abandoned. But there is no way, this is the adult society, this is the reality, the capable go up, the weak go down. The advantage of preseason games, compared to summer leagues, is that the requirements for tactics are much higher than the latter. If the summer league is the world of Chaos Masters, then it's time to start talking about the rules. If you don't want to run tactics, that's alright, just roll up the bed and get out. With a big point difference, the Blazers' rotation players played very confidently. Although the Lakers occasionally attacked, they still maintained the score at around 10 points. At 9 minutes and 45 seconds in the second quarter, seeing that the point difference could not be caught within 10 points, Lakers coach Mike Brown called a timeout, ready to let the main players go up. 49:37. After coming back from the timeout, both sides were replaced with all starting lineups, but the Lakers were beaten even worse. By the end of the third quarter, the difference between the two sides was as much as 21 points, and the fourth quarter was destined to become garbage time. The main players on both sides are also famous figures in the league, so naturally they don't want to play in garbage time. Therefore, both Mike Brown and Coach Terry replaced the main force, allowing rookies and the fringes of the team to peck each other on the court. The Blazers stayed on the court with the team's 3 rookies this year, Wang Zhelin, Lillard, and the second-round pick, the swingman Will Barton. This time, Coke broke Wang Zhelin, and Trash Time made a decisive attack. In the final quarter, he scored 11 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Yu Kanshu www.yukanshu.com let everyone present see his activeness for the game. The whole person looked like he was about to collapse, but he was still reluctant to leave the arena. With the last 5 minutes left in the game, the Trailblazers led the Lakers with a score of 97-62, but Wang Zhelin was still wreaking havoc on the Lakers' basket, and there was a tendency to never leave the game before 30 points. Seeing Tom Bruce's eyelids jumping on the sidelines. No, that little has been playing for 36 minutes, so he should be replaced, or he will be beaten. This is the home of Staples and the Lakers. The hosts still have to give their face. After all, it's just a preseason game, so there's no need to make such a big deal. When he was substituted, Wang Zhelin scored 10 hits in 17 shots, plus 25 points on 5 of 6 free throws, plus a game-high 15 rebounds, almost completing a 30+10 double-double. He was reluctant when he was substituted, but when he saw Coach Terry's black face, he resolutely chose to follow his heart. Lillard had a double-double with 18 points and 13 assists. Damian, it's a shame you only played for 2 minutes in the fourth quarter. If you played a few more minutes, your stats would be as luxurious as mine. Roll. Lillard pushed away Wang Zhelin's hand on his shoulder, his eyes were full of disgust, and he looked like he was not going to eat anything. TSK. Wang Zhelin shook his head and walked away. The current director Lee is still too young, too concerned about his skin, and has not been beaten by society. When the King of Sewers opens the manhole cover in the future, you will know that I am still playing too low-end in data. Episode 64, Carnival After Icebreaker. In the end, the Trailblazers won their first preseason victory away with 107-88, leading the Lakers by 19 points. After the game, Lillard took off his jersey to find his idol Nash for autograph. After Nash signed his name, he borrowed flowers and offered Buddha a compliment. "Young man, you are really good, the future is yours." Lillard. Fortunately, the two sides in this game are the Trailblazers and the Lakers. The former has a humanoid traffic monster like Wang Zhelin, and the latter is located in Angel City, the entertainment capital of the world. At the press conference, there were quite a lot of people, but if you look closely, reporters and photographers from the Chinese dynasty accounted for nearly 1/3. Great Celestial Dynasty, the number of people is amazing. It was a great game, at least for the Blazers. Your Majesty, you scored 25 points and 15 rebounds in the first preseason game, surpassing Deo and the United Arab League. What do you want to say to their 2 seniors? Wang Zhelin glanced at it. It turned out to be his own family. No wonder the questions asked were so kind. Records are meant to be broken. As a Chinese player, my body shines with countless rays of light from my seniors. I think breaking their previous records is the best tribute to my seniors. Look at what they said, super high level. Okay, thanks. Next person. Lemon is one of the 3 essences of human beings. No, the teammates on the other end looked at Wang Zhelin, who was surrounded by more than a dozen reporters, and silently picked up the lemon and ate it. Damn, even though that kid is so powerful, this interview is really too big. Really, why haven't I seen anyone come to interview me? Among the crowd of Chow Lemons, J.J. Hickson is the most. Through this game, he also thoroughly saw the gap between himself and Wang Zhelin, not only in apparent strength, but also in potential. Now he understands the team's strong support for Wang Zhelin's rise to power, which is one of the reasons why he can stay in the NBA. Although he is reckless, he knows how to reflect on himself afterwards. This time, Hickson looked at Wang Zhelin with envy in his eyes, but only without the envy he had before. Anyway, he's just a tramp, not many people will care about it. Sigh. At this time, a reporter suddenly appeared in front of Hickson. Hello, can I interview you? That's okay. As soon as Hickson lowered his head, he saw the microphone in front of him. The reporter had a 5-star red flag embroidered on his chest, apparently coming to the heaven. How would you rate your new teammate Wang Zhelin? Well, it really is a reporter from the Celestial Dynasty, and the 3 sentences cannot be separated from Wang Zhelin. Hickson was suddenly a little embarrassed. He couldn't say that the relationship between himself and Wang Zhelin was a little delicate. Wang is a very good teammate. He got an excellent stats of 20 plus 10 today, which is something I have never achieved in the NBA for so many years, and he did it as soon as he came. I believe he can help the team got better. Hickson, who had seen the reality clearly, finally made a relatively objective evaluation of Wang Zhelin. Okay, then the second question is, if you have the opportunity, would you like to visit the Celestial Dynasty? The reporter's second question is a sub-question. Of course, the Celestial Dynasty is a mysterious country with a long history. If there is a chance, I would be very happy to visit there. I heard that the cuisine of the Celestial Dynasty is very good. Hickson continued talking to the scalp. Finally, I want to ask, how is your internal relationship with Wang Zhelin? We are very good friends, and Hickson is also a very good player. Just when Hickson was embarrassed and was about to use his foot to pull out room 3, room 1, Wang Zhelin walked past, put his hand on the former's shoulder, and gave a thumbs up to the camera. Yes, that's right, we are very good friends. Hickson, who has changed 3 teams in less than 4 years after entering the league, is a veritable league vagabond. He has already seen through the league's ups and downs, and is used to being picked on and off by goods. But at this moment, his heart has never felt so warm. It turns out that it feels so good to be respected. As far as Wang Zhelin is concerned, the reason why he is willing to help Hickson to clear the siege is entirely because of Hickson's performance on the court just now. When Ader came off the court in the 3rd quarter, Wang Zhelin's inside partner became Hickson. He originally thought that the latter would definitely drag him down, and he didn't plan to play any tactical cooperation with the opponent. But I never thought that Hickson on the court seemed to have abandoned his displeasure off the court and himself. Not only did he do a good job in his defense, but he also took the initiative to help him in a round, allowing him to get an offensive rebound. Public and private distinctions. This is Wang Zhelin's second evaluation of Hickson. He began to believe in the phrase people are divided into groups, and things are similar to each other. In the atmosphere of a team like the Blazers, even if there are 1 or 2 bad people, it will not be too bad. That's how the scene is now. Well, just now, thank you. After the interview, in the player tunnel, Hickson, who was silent all the way, suddenly stopped Wang Zhelin. What did you say? I didn't hear it clearly. Wang Zhelin was overjoyed, but on the surface he deliberately pretended not to hear, and stretched out his long ears. Huh. I mean thank you just now. Jackson naively thought that Wang Zhelin was thinking about things and didn't pay attention, and gritted his teeth and said the words that made him feel extremely ashamed again. Fine. What? Although you may be a bad guy off the court, you are indeed a good teammate on the court and you are playing seriously. For me, this is enough. Wang Zhelin patted Jackson on the shoulder, then turned and left. A good teammate? It also feels pretty good. King, wait for me. This time, Jackson trotted all the way and walked to the locker room with Wang Zhelin hooked up. The previous conflict between the two suddenly broke the ice at this moment, like a pair of friends who have known each other for a long time. Men's friendship, sometimes it's really that simple. Back in the locker room others looked at Wang Zhelin and Ku Jackson, who were chatting and laughing all the way, hooking their waists and entering the room. Their faces were indescribably strange. I'll be darling. Didn't these 2 guys still treat each other like fire and water some time ago? But now they are as good as 2 pieces of mud, and they are about to be mixed together. Could this be the mysterious power of the East? Wang, Jackson, you. Batum glanced at his good friend Matthews. The 2 looked at each other and felt that the scene in front of them was extremely strange. Although we had some misunderstandings before, we have made it clear now, right King? That's right, it's all right. Didn't you say you were going to have a good time tonight? Are you still going? Speaking of this, Wang Zhelin's face was full of expectations. A nightclub. Wang Zhelin, who has been an old virgin for 2 lifetimes, hasn't experienced it yet, and he doesn't know what it will feel like. After the game, the guy Batum said that it was rare to win a big game tonight, and his teammates wanted to go to the nightclub to have a good time. By the way, they also celebrated the wonderful debuts of Wang Zhelin and Lillard. At first, he also refused in his heart, but later Lillard, the only comrade in arms, changed camps, and he had to change sides. Okay, tonight I'll let you know what the ultimate enjoyment is. For a while, even Aldridge turned into an old driver, with a face like hey hey hey. As a world-famous entertainment capital, the City of Angels is naturally extremely rich and gorgeous at night. After being brought into the nightclub by these old drivers, Wang Zhelin was instantly moved by the atmosphere in the venue, and couldn't help but shouted in his heart, "It's really fragrant." Tonight we are going to about fan value settings. Do you think it has been updated again? Hey, have you been deceived? Closer to home, the main content of this episode is shown in the title. Let's talk about the fan value setting of this book. At the beginning, I didn't think much about it. The setting of fan value is not rigorous enough, so I'll explain it here. Cough, cough. In fact, I didn't even think about this book at first, it's sloppy. The corresponding fan values generated by the 4 fan levels are as follows. Ordinary fans, 1 out of 10 1 fan value, referring to the so-called passerby fans. Sometimes you only need to pay attention to someone and have a certain goodwill. Loyal fans, 1 in 110 fan points. I support a certain type of people on a regular basis. Take Jin Zai as an example. I pay more attention to Hu Gu, Daniel Wu, Takeshi Kaneshiro, and others. I believe that many male book lovers are like me. If so, please type out your branch so that I can summarize it with the headquarters. Otherwise, I'll come first. Kari Kaneshiro Takeshi, come to report. Die-hard fans, 1 in 1,000 fan points. I will only support a certain star in a certain field, and once again use me as a representative. In the Chinese music world, I will always be Jay Chou this time, because I like his song Double J very much. Lifetime fans, 1 in 10,000 fan points. This level can basically be said to be NCF, referring to those fans who can see things like ZS for those who support themselves. That's it, let's continue coding. Slip away. Episode 65, one of the biggest illusions in life, the head of the forehead. Fortunately, it's at my own home. Slowly opening his eyes, Wang Zhelin felt as if his brain was caught in the door. He was groggy and his lips were extremely dry. When he got up and took a glass of warm water, he felt a little more awake. What did I do last night? Rubbing his head, Wang Zhelin began to recall everything from last night. After he first went to the nightclub, Wang Zhelin firmly refused to drink alcohol on the grounds that minors under the age of 21 in the United States could not drink alcohol. In the end, everyone else was drinking during the whole process, and only Wang Zhelin dragged Lei Haoji friend La Wok with Did to accompany him to drink milk. But I don't know why, the more milk he drinks, the worse it gets, it's very strong. Later, he remembered that Batum's gang called a group of blondes dressed in XG, and then he forgot. Could it be? Is it? No way. He seemed to have thought of something not very good. He hurriedly searched the house and found that there were no extra objects, and he let out a sigh of relief. But why is there always something missing in my heart? When he was a fan in his last life, he complained more than once about the stars who spent all day in nightclubs and gave him a bright future. But when he experienced it himself, he realized that feasting can really bring people such strong stimulation and great satisfaction. For the high-income group of NBA players, there are too many factors off the court that are as coquettish and charming as poppies. Capitalism is really harmful, and even my excellent socialist successor almost got caught. But then again, in the nightclub yesterday, the group of blonde girls that Batum and others found they were the kind of humph. It's like a jar of fine wine waiting to be opened. You can still consider taking a few sips if you have the opportunity. At 12 noon on the 13th, the Blazers came to Phoenix, and their second opponent was the Suns. Since the departure of the bully Amare and son of the wind Nash, the pair that led the Suns to become the league's top team, the Suns have started their own long road of reconstruction. The current main training object of the Suns is Goran Dragic. He was selected by the Spurs with the 15th overall pick in the second round of the 2008 draft, and then traded to the Suns. He is also known as Nash's successor. Other starters, Wang Zhelin, were also quite impressed. The Polish hammer Gortat, Mosaic veteran Diamond Scola, Durant's good friend Michael Beasley. It is worth mentioning that Michael Beasley was still the number 2 pick in the 2008 draft, but now the Suns are mainly supporting the second-round pick he once looked down on. I don't know what he was thinking at this time. In the Blazers' temporary training arena, everyone is adjusting their form in their favorite way to better prepare for the night's game. Hickson, whose cat was playing with his notebook in the ground, suddenly jumped in surprise. "Guys, come and see, our team is making headlines." Everyone gathered around to take a look. The headline news on today's game day was that the Trailblazers beat the F2 leading Lakers by 19 points. Among them, the two rookies Wang Zhelin and Lillard scored 43 points together. The feat is the most eye-catching. Cool. Damien, I must invite the reporter who took this photo to have a big meal. Look at this photo he took. The artistic level is at least as high as 3 or 4 floors. Wang Zhelin pointed to the photo on the headline of the most famous Sports Illustrated newspaper in the United States. It was the alley-oop that Lillard passed to Wang Zhelin at the beginning of the game. The photographer successfully captured the excitement on Wang Zhelin's face and the panic of the Lakers players. You can consider adding chicken thighs. The fly in the ointment is that only Damien's back was photographed. It's a pity, but it doesn't matter, there are still many opportunities in the future. That's the case, but through the trembling upper body, everyone in the Trailblazers knew that this guy was definitely laughing, and it was very painful. Depend on. Lillard knew that if he answered at this time, it would definitely make Wang Zhelin even better, so he decided to turn around and practice. It's so boring, I can't help laughing. Let's take a look at this picture A. When Wang Zhelin turned around, his teammates scattered like birds and beasts, disappearing without a trace. The game against the Suns started soon, and the starters of both sides were as expected. The Trailblazers' starting 5 are still the same as in the first game. The Suns sent a new lineup with Dragic as the core. This game is the second preseason game of the two teams. The difference is that the Blazers ushered in their first victory, while the former ended in defeat. The Suns' opponent was the Kings, which were also in the rebuilding period. It can be said that they were half a caddy versus 8 tails. They staged a rookie pecking for the audience. Although they lost the game, Phoenix fans were still satisfied with the performance of the new Suns core Dragic. In 15 minutes of playing, he scored 9 points and 4 assists on 4 of 6 shots. Those 4 turnovers are a bit irritating, which is undoubtedly fatal for a point guard. Fortunately, it is only a preseason game, and there is still a lot of room for improvement for Dragic. For this game, Phoenix fans also hope that Dragic can bring them new highlights. But others don't know. Does Wang Zhelin still not know? Dragic has to maintain his mediocre performance this season, and next season will be his explosive period. At that time, he not only won the NBA's Most Improved award, but also successfully selected the NBA All-NBA third team. And these are the highlights of his entire career. In the years that followed, Dragic successfully proved that he was only a starting-level player in the NBA, reaching the threshold of an all-star. Coincidentally, Director Lee was also selected to the league's best team in the 2013-14 season, and Dragic was the number 1 and number 2 positions in the third team respectively. It's just that one was selected in the second year, and the other was the 6th year of his career with the halo of the Most Improved award to impress the media and fans after the game started. Lillard was on the outside as soon as he came up. He hit a three-pointer to get the Blazers off to a good start. Lillard's three-point ability has been increasingly trusted by his teammates. On the Suns' side, the Diamond who had just joined the Suns stepped forward. 18 martial arts such as dunks, layups, and three-pointers were staged in turn, leading the team to a perfect 20-8 start. As the leader of the team, Ade certainly did not show weakness. He joined forces with Wang Zhelin in the interior to quickly reduce the point difference to single digits. At this time, the Suns were on fire, and Michael Beasley immediately scored 5 points in a row. At the end of the first quarter, the Suns led 28-15. Although Michael Beasley is unpopular in the league for personal reasons, his strength cannot be doubted by anyone. 83 ratings. This is the overall rating given to Beasley by the system, which is not at all what a player who averages about 10 points per game should have. But this is the fact, the NBA is such a place that pays attention to talent, otherwise Michael Beasley would not be able to rely on a large number of individual singles in the third year of his career to average 32 minutes of playing time per game. Get nearly 20 points. The Suns' temporary lead surprised the home fans quite a bit, knowing that the opposing Trailblazers just took down the NBA's super strong purple and gold core with a score of 19 points in the last game. Although Kobe and Howard didn't play, who cares about the fans? What they know now is that their own team had a 13-point opening lead against the Trailblazers, who had just killed the Lakers in the last game. Can this game be won? Episode 66, The Beginning of Loneliness in Phoenix. It turns out that Phoenix fans really think too much. Back in the second quarter, although Dragic quickly hit a pick-and-roll for 2 points to further expand the score, the unwilling Blazers quickly sounded the horn of a violent counterattack. There is no reason for the Lakers, we all won, and now we can lose against a team that is destined to compete for the number 1 pick this year. The Trailblazers sent the baseline ball, and Lillard handed the ball to Ade, who was in a good position after half-court. Ade observed the positions of his teammates and signaled Wang Zhelin to open up the space to the other side. He wanted to play singles. Michael Beasley. Seeing Ade leaning towards him, Michael Beasley was very excited. He debuted at number 2. The opponent was already the leader of the team, and he gradually became a nobody who was troubled by playing time. This made Michael Beasley, who has always been regarded as a genius by the outside world, very annoyed. It's all the fault of those hot-headed coaches and the lack-eyed management. It's damned if you don't use a big talent like me, but instead promote a second-round pick. Even though he is in the field today, Michael Beasley has always believed that it was not himself but someone else who was at fault. No wonder this guy will go to the CBA in a few years. Glancing at Michael Beasley, Ade was as expressionless as a muggle, performing post-ups. Years of bad defensive habits left Michael Beasley with nothing to do with Aldridge. He could only watch the opponent act recklessly in front of him. In the next round, Michael Beasley was eager to achieve success, and he chose to shoot confidently under the double team. The result was a successful strike, and Wang Zhelin picked up the backcourt rebound. This time, it was considered that the Suns' original good offensive rhythm had been destroyed, and Coach Gentry couldn't help frowning. I saw him turn to the assistant coach, Rory, if Beasley still doesn't play according to the tactics in the next round, then remove him. After thinking for a while, he added, if you can get in, that's fine. Okay, sir. Assistant Professor Rory nodded. It's the Blazers' round again, and this time the ball is still in the hands of team boss Ade. This time, after Ader made a few tentative steps, he suddenly took off and hit Michael Beasley by surprise, heading towards the penalty area. Michael Beasley quickly returned to the defense with a boom. The whole person directly hit a human wall, and he could only watch Ade slip away in front of him. It's despicable to actually play a pick and roll. Michael Beasley looked up in surprise. It turned out that there was a yellow-skinned giant in front of him. The pick and roll was very sudden. Before hitting it, he didn't notice that people would jump out of his forward path. Man, remember to watch the road next time, or I'll tell the traffic police that someone is rear-ending. After Ade made a successful layup under the basket, Wang Zhelin couldn't help joking about this famous NBA negative textbook when he returned to defense. When he was in the CBA, most of the players he saw were players of the same skin color as himself. Wang Zhelin was not so talkative, but after entering the unfamiliar environment of the NBA, he suddenly became more talkative. Perhaps this is also a way to relieve the depressed mood of being a stranger in a foreign land alone. Most people in an unfamiliar environment will involuntarily develop inwardly, but Wang Zhelin has become a very small part, and the whole person begins to approach Jiang Wei's talkative tuber. The coldness of the past is gone forever. When Michael Beasley was about to answer, he found that the boy on the opposite side, number 36, had run away. FUXK. The serious Blazers played the Suns with no temper at all. They chased the score within 5 points in just one quarter. The Suns players gradually lost themselves and fell into the game rhythm of Ade and others. On the far side of the ocean, Wang Zhelin and his wife are also closely watching the game. That's great, Pharaoh. Now Zhelin and the Suns have a 42-47 score, and they'll catch up soon. When Wang Zhelin came back after brewing tea, Emily Lin began to tell her husband about the process of the competition. How many points has Zhelin scored now? There are 6 points and 4 rebounds. The Blazers have taken all in this game by Rajas. Ade never dreamed that he would unlock a new nickname just like that. His name is LaMarcus Aldridge. His strength in the NBA is not much worse than that of Yao Ming back then, and according to Zhelin, the other party has a good temper and is easy to get along with. Wang Zhelin reluctantly explained Aldridge's name to his wife. Really, it's similar to Yao Ming, but it's quite amazing. I just don't know if you're married? The King's father. The King's father and Queen were chatting at home, and Wang Zhelin's game had come to an end. After the start of the third quarter, Coach Terry replaced Ade, who had played the entire first half, to rest. The 3 main players, Wang Zhelin, Lillard, and Batum, were still on the field. The Suns unexpectedly changed into a rotation lineup. Gentry seemed to be telling everyone they had given up on this game. This time, Wang Zhelin's matchup has become Solomon Jones, who is 8 centimeters shorter than himself, an out-and-out NBA fringe. Facing such an opponent, Wang Zhelin showed no mercy. With the help of Lillard, he consciously increased his inside shots. After a quarter, he increased his score by 11 points and grabbed 3 rebounds. Apart from a little thrilling at the beginning, the second half became a veritable training battle, with the coaches of the 2 teams changing tactics to hone their tactics. After the start of the fourth quarter, although Wang Zhelin still retained a strong desire to play, Coach Terry refused his request to play. Once that stinky brat gets excited, he's like a wild horse that can't stop. The last time I played against the Lakers was a lesson from the past, and this time Coach Terry didn't want to repeat the same mistakes. When the whistle for the end of the game sounded, the other players of the Suns seemed to hear the sound of nature and let out a sigh of relief. Finally, I don't have to be hanged and beaten anymore. 101-92, the score was only 9 points apart, but only those who watched the whole game knew that this was not a game with a tight score, but a one-sided massacre from the second half. Both Wang Zhelin and Lillard played less than 30 minutes in this game, not as good as the first game, but their performances were still very efficient. Wang Zhelin scored 7 of 9, plus 3 free throws and scored 17 points and 7 rebounds. Lillard scored 22 points and 8 assists. It is worth mentioning that Lillard's three-pointer feeling was very good in this game, and his 5 shots from beyond the three-point line were exchanged for 3 hits. In the eyes of outsiders, the Blazers have selected 2 very good little guys who will have a very bright future. Among the rookies in the same class, apart from the Hornets' new core Anthony Davis and the Wizards' Bradley Beal, there is no 5th rookie to average double figures. Phoenix fans will inevitably be a little disappointed to see their home team lose, but they believe that under the wise leadership of the team's management, the sun will rise again. But what they didn't know was that the departure of Stoudemire and Nash caused the Phoenix City to fall into the abyss. Their reconstruction has just begun, and the road ahead is still long. Episode 67, Incoming Sneaker Contracts. 2 weeks have passed, and the Blazers have played all 4 remaining preseason games against the Kings, Nuggets, Warriors, and Jazz. In the next 4 games, the Trailblazers lost 2 games, 1 game each to the Nuggets and Jazz. If it is said that losing to the Jazz has the element of underestimating the enemy, then losing to the Nuggets is because the overall strength of the opponent is really strong. After Carmelo Anthony left the Big Apple, the team's head coach George Karl gained absolute control of the team, and by doing so, polished a running and jumping team with high tactical literacy and team-oriented. Last season, the Nuggets remained tenacious in the 6th place in the Western Conference without Anthony. In my impression, the Nuggets will be a dark horse this season, reaching 3rd in the Western Conference and 5th in the league with 57 wins and 25 losses, with a winning rate of 69.5%. George Karl won the only Best Coach trophy in his coaching career with his amazing performance this season. Back to the Trailblazers. After all 6 preseason games, Wang Zhelin averaged 28.4 minutes per game and averaged 15 points, 9 rebounds, 1.5 assists and 1 block per game, ranking 3rd in scoring and 1st in rebounding. Lillard averaged 25 minutes per game and averaged 17.5 points, 6.8 assists and 1.2 steals per game, ranking 1st in scoring. As for the number 1 pick Davis, who scored 16 points and 8 rebounds in 6 preseason games and topped the rookie list with 2.3 blocks, his amazing talent on the defensive end surprised everyone. And Bradley Beal, who had 13 points and 3 assists. These 4 are all 12-year rookies who can average double figures per game. The North Carolina Blackhawk Barnes, who was originally expected by the outside world, only handed over 7.2 points and 4 rebounds when he had the ball and playing time. Therefore, both the media and fans agree that the best rookie of this draft year will only be produced among the 4 Wang Zhelin, and the others have basically lost the opportunity to compete for the best rookie. After the final preseason game on the 23rd, the Blazers were given a 7-day break, their longest vacation before the upcoming 82-game-long regular season. After arriving at Penguin with his parents on the phone, taking advantage of this spare time, Wang Zhelin will start to think about his sneaker endorsement. As a Chinese player, Wang Zhelin's attention is far from what ordinary black athletes say can be compared. After all, too many people of the yellow race long for a player of the same skin color to appear on the world's largest basketball arena, to prove to other people of the skin color that the yellow race is not bad either. This is a kind of spiritual sustenance. In the past, such hopes were placed on Ryota, Daba, Deo, Yi Jianlian, Sun Yu, and others. The same is true for Wang Zhelin. This also makes his peripheral products sell well. For example, the sales of jerseys are now ranked 1st in the team, and they have broken into the top 30 in the league. Yao Ming, who gained weight successfully that year, started from the 2004 to 2005 season and gradually became a superstar at the basket. His jersey sales ranking quickly reached the 13th place in the season. You must know that Yao Ming is a center and an international player at the same time. It is not easy to achieve this step. As for the ranking of international players' jerseys, Yao Ming is at the top of the list, beating Nua Tianwang, Dejia, and others. As early as during the Olympic Games, when Wang Zhelin successively played brilliant performances against NBA All-Star level inside players Marc Gasol, boxing champion Chandler and others, Nike and Adidas, 2 sports giants, began to move their minds. Although there has always been a saying in the NBA that centers don't sell shoes, it also depends on who the target is. As a player from the Celestial Dynasty, Wang Zhelin is definitely a potential stock worth investing in. Although he certainly does not have as much effect as an outside star, but with his identity, he can guarantee that the contract is absolutely worthwhile. But in the end, Nike didn't seem so eager to sign Wang Zhelin. Although they know that signing Wang Zhelin will definitely make money, for Nike, which has almost monopolized the top 5 superstars in the league, Wang Zhelin can be said to be a chicken rib. It is tasteless to eat, and it is a pity to abandon it. The league's former number 1 Kobe Bryant, the league's new number 1 LeBron James, the rising superscorer Kevin Durant. These well-known league supergiants all belong to Nike. After a little comparison, Nike executives agreed, Wang Zhelin can invest, but it is not worth spending a lot of money. Regarding the sneaker endorsement contract currently received by agent Joe Yang, Nike gave a 2-year contract with a salary of $6 million, and Adidas also gave a 2-year contract, but it gave $400,000 more than the former. After all, Adidas has always been very fond of the big men inside the NBA, and the 3 inside superstars, Duan, Wolf King, and Spark, are their spokespersons. In addition, now that Wang Zhelin has performed well in the Olympic Games, Adidas feels that he is worth the price. But it's only worth the price, not more. Boss Chiao followed closely with a 1-year contract of 2.8 million yuan. However, Wang Zhelin all chose to refuse. For nothing else, he simply felt that there were too few, and these guys obviously just treated him as an ordinary star. Therefore, as early as before the preseason started, Wang Zhelin's refusal to endorse Nike and Adidas, the 2 giants, quickly aroused heated discussions in the league. As his performance in the preseason got better and better, the heated discussion not only did not diminish, but intensified. An insider is still delusional about getting a big contract. Do you really think you are O'Neal? Celestial rookie rejects the 2 giants in the sports world one after another. Is it self-confidence or really stupid? After the preseason, Nike and Adidas saw that Wang Zhelin became more and more popular, and both tacitly added a lot of money. 8 million for 2 years and 8.2 million for 2 years. Perhaps in their opinion, such an investment is kind enough. Wang Zhelin said that Podian is just a rookie, and such a large sum of money is enough for him to hug his thigh and shout, "Dad." Just as Nike and Adidas were holding a lofty attitude and waiting for Wang Zhelin to beg them to sign a contract, Anta dispatched high-level officials from China and traveled thousands of miles to the United States to discuss with Wang Zhelin about sneakers. At the same time, Li Ning, the domestic leader, naturally would not allow his competitors to become bigger and bigger. After learning that Wang Zhelin had rejected Nike and Adidas, he sent a lobbyist overnight. Speaking of the brand Li Ning, it is natural to be inseparable from its founder, Prince of Gymnastics Li Ning. Because of the existence of Li Ning, this brand has always been the leader in the domestic sports industry, and the quality of the sneakers is also very good. Years of seeing all the mountains and small mountains have made Li Ning's management a little less enterprising and slack in the basketball market, which has led to the emergence of Anta, a young competitor. By the time Li Ning came to his senses, Anta had developed into a behemoth. In order to regain the share of basketball shoes in the domestic market, Li Ning spent a sky-high contract this year to sign NBA superstar Dwayne Wade. The joining of Wade makes Li Ning firmly believe that he will be able to distance himself from Anta's little brother again. Regarding Wang Zhelin's signing, it's best to sign it, but if you can't sign it, you should be disgusted with Anta, and never let the other party get it easily. Not to be outdone, Peak Sports also sent people to the United States. Episode 68, Never Stop. On the morning of the 24th, delegations from Anta, Li Ning, Peak and the 3 domestic sports brands all arrived in Portland. In the conference room of a hotel, representatives of the 3 companies competed fiercely over Wang Zhelin's endorsement of the sneaker contract. But after a series of competitions, Wang Zhelin can clearly feel, Anta is quite sincere, Peak is also quite sincere, but the confidence is not strong enough. As for Li Ning, there is always a feeling of stirring shit. From the perspective of the financial resources of the 2 parties, the final choice must be borne between Li Ning and Anta. After hearing that big brother Li Ning spent a lot of money to sign Dwayne Wade, Anta's management was inevitably a little anxious. Although they signed Kevin Garnett, who had just won the championship in 2010, and gained another wave of prestige in the country, but at this time the Wolf King has gradually aged, and Wade has just won the 2nd championship of his career. People's popularity has long been incomparable. Therefore, it is particularly important to sign Wang Zhelin this time. At least as far as the domestic market is concerned, as long as it can persuade Wang Zhelin to join, Anta has the confidence to overtake Li Ning, the big brother, in the field of basketball shoes and become the top brand in China. After several waves of fierce competition, the pricing has not come down. For such matters involving interests, it is better for professional brokers to come forward to bargain, so as not to appear that Wang Zhelin has fallen into the eyes of money. Moreover, the agent is specialized in this matter. Wang Zhelin only needs to watch from the sidelines, silently watching this war without the smoke of gunpowder. Zhelin, tell me, who do you prefer in your heart? After Zhou Yang came to Wang Zhelin, he asked softly. If I really want to choose one, it has to be Anta and Peak. After all, they are both hometown industries, but the former is a bit weak. If the amount is the same, I would prefer Anta. As for Li Ning, I always feel that they are not here to negotiate, but more like they are here to make trouble. This is indeed what Wang Zhelin said in his heart. The most important thing is that Li Ning's top NBA spokesperson has been determined to be Wade. No one would think that a rookie who has just debuted can be compared with Wade, who is still at his peak. But Anta is different. Their previous top spokesperson, Kevin Garnett, has gradually aged. If Wang Zhelin signs a contract, then he has the possibility of taking the top position. Later time also proved that Li Ning, the former leader of the domestic sports industry, has begun to become reluctant to make progress. And Anta's performance will reach 7.62 billion yuan this year. Judging from the absolute value of revenue, Anta has successfully been promoted to the brand leader of domestic sporting goods. In the future, Anta will sign NBA stars such as Klay Thompson, CJ, Gordon Hayward, etc., to further consolidate the status of the domestic leader. As for Peak, everyone could see that in the previous rounds of quotations, they had gradually retreated due to insufficient pockets. He definitely didn't dislike Xiaoyan's father because Li Ning signed a contract with him later. Real. Mr. Li, Mr. Ding, Mr. Su, I don't think it's a problem for you to fight back and forth. Let's just compare the ability to compete directly. Let's talk about it. After asking Wang Zhelin's opinion, Zhou Yang stepped forward to give the final announcement. Well, the team representatives of the three companies were all at a loss for words. Everyone knows that whoever speaks first will be in a disadvantageous position. I'll give you 100 million. In the end, it was the Li Ning team who made their final offer. Is it me, Jean? Zhou Yang asked excitedly. Cough cough RMB. Representative Li Ning replied angrily. Forehead. I was having fun and wasting my mood. Then Mr. Ding, what about your team? Wang Zhelin turned his expectant gaze to Anta on the other side. Mr. Wang, Mr. Zhou, this is the final contract I drew up after asking the chairman. Please take a look. Anta's delegation handed over the contract confidently, as if they already knew they were deep within me. Oh. Now Wang Zhelin became interested. Anta and Li Ning discussed it for a long time before, but the final contract amount was tightly pressed at about 12 million meters of gold. Li Ning's latest price was 100 million yuan, which is about 15 million yuan in rice gold. How high can Anta be? I'll go 20 million meters of gold. Looking over the contract, Wang Zhelin saw the contract amount at first sight. He was very satisfied. Uncle Joe, I choose Anta. The rest is up to you. I'll go to practice first and call me when I need to sign. After speaking, Wang Zhelin turned and left, leaving Zhou Yang alone to announce the final decision to the three delegations. Under Zhou Yang's argument, Wang Zhelin's contract amount has also increased from the initial 2,000 meters of gold to 22 million, and the contract period is 2 years. At the same time, the contract also specifies the incentive clause. As long as Wang Zhelin can get the best rookie, the all-star team, various data kings and other achievements in the future, Anta will pay an additional bonus. Of course, after the 2-year contract expires, Anta will have the priority to sign the Wang Zhelin sneaker contract under the same amount. This is a complex and long-term cooperation agreement, which cannot be explained in a few words. It involves contracts, laws, finance and other aspects. After 3 days of negotiation, Zhou Yang and Wang Zhelin's legal team confirmed one by one that the content of the endorsement was correct. In the end, Wang Zhelin successfully signed his first sneaker contract with Anta and became an NBA spokesperson under Anta. After the news spread, it was another milestone victory for Anta Sports. Because Wang Zhelin is not only a member of the Great Celestial Dynasty, but also has a very high appeal in the domestic youth market. At the same time, his performance in the NBA is also dazzling enough, which can usher in more attention for Anta. Anta, never stop. This is Anta's slogan, which impressed many people deeply. For this sentence, Wang Zhelin is also very satisfied, so he did not consider other advertising slogans for his endorsement. As soon as the 2-year 22 million meter gold sneaker contract came out, many people said that Anta was crazy. Wang Zhelin is just a center, he hasn't even played a regular season game, why is he? But no matter what, the fire is definitely on fire. This also made him move and let in. The idea of stepping on the company to open an advertising fee for yourself. Well, these are just jokes. As a sports star, Wang Zhelin relies on his performance to attract fans, Unlike those little fresh meat in the future, in order to keep the popularity, not only the headlines fly all over the sky when there is no performance, but also from time to time on variety shows and sell badly. After the sneaker contract incident ended, no matter how hot it was an off-court matter, and Wang Zhelin quickly returned to training. To make a dazzling performance on the court is the foundation of his standing. On November 1st, the Trailblazers will be at home against the Lakers F4, which has been combined for the first time. Although the opponent looks extremely powerful from the outside world, it is the number 1 seed to win this season, and the Blazers are a team struggling in the playoffs. But just like what he often said, this is a good start, he has made it, and can't stop it when he comes. Episode 69, Isn't winning 20 points a victory? 7 days later, on November 1st, Wang Zhelin's Portland Trailblazers will be at home in their Rose Garden to face the Lakers F4, which is known as not winning the championship or losing. This is Wang Zhelin's real debut for the Trailblazers, and Portland fans also hope that their own team can win this game at home. Although many people think that this is very difficult, they still have a little extravagance in their hearts. For no other reason, the Lakers management has created a galactic battleship that shocked the league this season is too bluffing. The league's first shooting guard, the first center, and the league's top 5-point guards and power forwards, plus Artest's fresh tank defensemen, and the 6th-man level of Jackson and Meek's bench bandits. Whether it is from the starting lineup or the rotation, the Lakers are strong enough to make all opponents shudder. As night fell and the lights appeared, the front of the Rose Garden Arena, the home of the Trailblazers, was already full of people, and from time to time there were a few high-pitched car whistles. It's all because of the arrival of one person, one team, the Black Mamba and his Lakers purple and gold. It is worthy of being one of the 2 giants in the league alongside the Celtics. The Lakers have fans all over the country, and even on the road, there are many supporters of them. As soon as they got off the bus, the Lakers players were surrounded by 10 reporters, and the entire parking lot was flooded. Reporters and topics always go hand in hand. Even if it is a game with little attention, they can come up with some messy topics, not to mention this game with a lot of attention. The reporters, I can't figure out a topic, do you support me? After some stalking, Lakers head coach Mike Brown had to hold a temporary interview, but at Kobe's request, he could only answer 3 questions. All of a sudden, the fans and reporters at the scene couldn't help but go crazy. They didn't expect such an extra surprise after a long wait. A reporter from the New York Times tried his best to squeeze in and finally got to Kobe. Hello Kobe, this game is the first time Dwight, Steve, you, and Paul have played together. How many points do you think the Lakers have to beat the Blazers to be called a victory? Good guy, the question is so acute as soon as it comes up. What does it mean to win by how many points? This shows that the Blazers are not in the eye of the beholder. The reporters around didn't even think of the first question. It was so exciting. One by one, they quickly took out their notebooks and prepared to record them. Not surprisingly, this one question is enough to overcome the next 2. As expected from the New York Times, everyone in it is talented, speaks nicely, and the most important thing is that he is never afraid of causing trouble. On the surface, Kobe, who was already an MMP, pretended to think for a while. When he was about to answer, Howard suddenly leaned his head over and said, yes, to the camera. Didn't the Blazers beat us by 19 points in the preseason, but I think 19 points is a piece of shit. In this game, we have to win the opponent by 20 points. I want them to know what the best team in the league is, you say, Kobe. Howard's words are a bit harsh, but no one thinks there is anything excessive? At this stage at the beginning of the season, the Lakers F4 can scare off a lot of people just by their name, and not many people have found that they are just paper tigers. Although F4 accidentally lost to the Dallas Mavericks in the last game, the outside world will only think that they need to run in, and the Mavericks are also one of the few strong teams in the league. Today we are going to play the Blazers, a youth army whose core is only 27 years old. The Lakers beat them, and they are still not easily captured. Although Howard's performance was a bit over the top, it also spoke to Kobe's heart. Although Howard made Kobe very dissatisfied with his training attitude, and once thought of the Great Shark, it must be admitted that Howard is indeed the strongest center he has worked with since O'Neal. Yes, as Dwight said, we need to win this game by at least 20 points. At this time, the first honeymoon period of the 2 of them has not yet passed, and the concubine is angry from time to time, but the Black Mamba can still be very generous. The little days have just begun. At this time, you don't need to push the little wife hard. When will the baby's milk be expected? When Kobe and Howard made it clear that the game was going to be won by 20 points, do the following 2 questions still matter? What's more important? Now everyone is eager for the Lakers and the Blazers to fight as soon as possible literally. Hello everyone, welcome to watch the 2012 to 2013 NBA game that we bring to you. This game is the opening game of the Portland Trail Blazers and the first regular season game of Chinese player Wang Zhelin's career. And they're up against the Los Angeles Lakers led by Kobe Bryant. In the latest championship favorite prediction list, the Lakers with F4 undoubtedly top the list. This game is a great challenge for Wang Zhelin, and his opponent will be the current top center in the league. The difficulty of this game is no less than the first time Dayo met Shaquille O'Neal, who was still in his prime. The commentator of the online live broadcast platform was very excited at this time, and he said in his heart, "David Stern knows the fans too well, 2TM will happen. Today's ratings will definitely explode." Half an hour before the start of the game, players from both teams came to the court to warm up before the game. Kobe's eyes were quickly attracted by a tall yellow-skinned teenager. Will you be the next Yao? In the Olympic Games, Wang Zhelin scored a double-double against the Dream 10 team. After the team started training in the new season, Kobe also asked his eldest wife, Wang Zhelin's specific performance against the Spanish team. Big Gasol also gave Wang Zhelin a very high evaluation, the terrifying behemoth under the basket, quite the style of the shark back then. This also made Kobe more interested in Wang Zhelin. On the other side, Wang Zhelin, after the Lakers entered the court, immediately set his sights on Kobe Bryant. Many people said that they wanted to see the peak Kobe Bryant before 2013, and he is here today. He's sturdy, with eyes like lightning. Unexplainable leaning back, ecstasy. With Kobe like this, how could he not be worthy of a pair of big and small wives? Don't ask Nash, ask is a 10-year-old friend. Player, Kobe Bryant. Speed, 82, burst, 84. Offensive ability, relying on hits, 95, layups, 96, mid-range shots, 99, long shots, 80. Defensive ability, external defense, 92, internal defense, 66. Overall rating, 97, historic supergiant. Evaluation, the last pinnacle of a generation of legends. Talent skills, marksman, purple diamond, terminator, purple diamond, big heart, purple diamond, restricted area overlord, gold, physical fitness expert, gold, quick gunner, gold. The score was 1 point lower than the London Olympics, but it was still outrageously strong, and with the talent and skill configuration of the 3 yellows and 3 purples, the 97-point supergiant was so terrifying. He is indeed a master of offensive skills in the basketball world. Taking advantage of the off-season this year, Kobe also went to Germany for a platelet-rich plasma treatment, and the medical effect was surprisingly good. At least on the offensive end, this Black Mamba seems to have regained its venom-filled state. 50-plus dunks this season is the best proof. You must know that the Black Mamba has barely exceeded 30 dunks in recent seasons, and last season it was only a career-low 28. Who would dare to believe that this was the former Peter Pan who escaped from the sky? Since the last time he broke the 50 dunk mark in a single season, it has to be the 2008 to 2009 season. The 2012 to 13 season is known as the final peak of the Black Mamba, not just talking about it. The last 5 minutes before the game, in the Blazers locker room, Coach Terry is making his final call. The media despised us, the Lakers even despised us, and everyone said they wanted to win us by more than 20 points. Tell me, what should we do? Then fight. This group of young and vigorous boys has been excited and burning with anger, and a continuous roar almost wants to penetrate the entire dressing room. Yes, it's time for us to play the spirit of a new team and let the fans of Portland be proud of us in the future. The Lakers are not that terrible. They lost all 8 games in the preseason. They also have their own weaknesses. We can win by grasping these things. Then, get on the court, guys, go and tell the old guys at the Lakers that their time has passed, and the future is yours. Coach Terry's passionate speech filled every corner of the locker room, which also allowed him to successfully open the door to the inner world of the group of young players in front of him. Everyone's faces were full of violent and heavy gasps, like a group of wolves that had not eaten for 3 days and 3 nights, preparing for a baptism of blood. Episode 70, Internal Discord F4. In fact, there is no so-called explicit regulation on the order of appearance of NBA players. It is reasonable to say that it is not necessary to be too limited by the scene. However, when people get together, they naturally form unique circles, and the same is true for the NBA. Therefore, the home team still has to have the pomp and circumstance, which is also a unique NBA basketball culture. As far as the Blazers are concerned, the last player to play is naturally the team boss Aldridge. One is to set off the atmosphere, and the other is to show his status and let the fans know who is the real team boss. Of course, a boss like Wang Zhelin, a scholar in white, is an exception. Among the remaining players, the order of appearances is also well-founded. Substitute players with lower status on the team tend to appear first, followed by the starting 5 generals. Of course, there are also some big guys who have both qualifications and strength as substitutes, who will be arranged to play at the back. The live DJ will also adjust his tone appropriately according to the status. When the away Lakers players are finished, the next is the home players. The first to appear are Nolan Smith, Rooney Price, Hickson and other substitute rotation players. In the end, it was the Trailblazers who made the starting five. Matthews, Batum, Lillard and Wang Zhelin, as well as team boss Ade. Lillard and Wang Zhelin were arranged to play in the penultimate and second place in the regular season, which shows how much the team attaches importance to them. Sometimes being in a youth team has this extra benefit: everyone is young, as long as you are strong, everyone will obey you, and naturally there will be no problems with qualifications or qualifications. After personally witnessing the strength of Lillard and Wang Zhelin, the two old men, Matthews and Batum, had nothing to say about this and accepted this arrangement of appearances. It seems that the celestial boy has a very high status in the team, and he was actually the second last to play. What Nash didn't expect was that his slightly emotional words sounded so harsh to Howard. "You mean that first-year rookie can compare to me?" Howard's expression suddenly became subtle, and there was a moment of anger in his words. The current order of appearances for the Lakers is that Kobe Bryant, Ja and Nash are the second to last and third to the last, and the youngest Howard is the fourth to last. From the outside, this sort of arrangement is not too problematic. Kobe is the leader of the team, Ja is an important contributor to the 2 consecutive championships, Nash is a former league superstar and veteran, Howard may be second only to Kobe, after all, he is a newcomer and a young man. Let the first 3 veteran is as it should be. However, Mr. Warcraft doesn't think so. Howard remembered that Kupchak, the general manager of the Lakers, had promised him that once he joined the Lakers, he would undoubtedly be the best choice to take over the leadership of the Lakers from Kobe. Coupled with the fact that the Lakers have always had a tradition of joining supercenters, Howard agreed to the signing contract provided by the Lakers. The main thing is that Oakland, where he played for nearly a decade before, is a backcountry compared to Los Angeles. Among the various reasons for joining, there are actually hundreds of millions of people who envy the City of Angels. From Howard's pure point of view, since he has joined the Lakers and has the assurance of the management, he should be the second best candidate in the team, and he will be the third no matter how bad it is. After all, Pau Gasol helped the Lakers win 2 consecutive championships, so he should have let him go. Unexpectedly, after he joined the Lakers, the team's status was only ranked 4th. He expressed quite dissatisfaction with this. Why can Nash, a lousy old man who has never made it to the finals, be ranked ahead of him? Therefore, during the team practice game, he was unwilling to listen to Coach Mike Brown's persuasion and play pick-and-roll tactics with Nash. Although he is also very clear, the power of his pick-and-roll with Nash must be much stronger than that of the so-called little bully. But he always felt that he was a super giant in the league when he was upright, and Nash was already old. If he wanted to play pick-and-roll, he had to wait for this old guy to ask him. Kobe, Nash and others may never have dreamed that the reason Howard would rather die than play pick-and-roll tactics is so naive and ridiculous. Forehead. Why is this kid crazy? Nash was stunned for a moment. He clearly didn't mention Howard in his own words. Why did the latter react so strongly? Beep. 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 The referee's whistle sounded, indicating that the players from both sides can enter the field. Let's go guys, we have to win this victory tonight. The Black Mamba stood up immediately and formed a circle with his teammates, declaring the oath of victory. The 8-game losing streak in the preseason can also be explained by the run-in of the lineup, and losing to the Mavericks is not unacceptable. But if they lose to a young team like the Blazers again, the Lakers will really lose their face. The applause and compliments the Lakers received at this moment required them to play a corresponding record. If they couldn't win, then the abyss would be their final destination. The higher you stand, the worse you fall. On the other hand, on the Blazers side, since the moment the players stepped on the court, Portland fans have been infecting everyone's heart with their enthusiasm. The overwhelming applause and cheers from the Rose Garden have never stopped. The 4 wins and 2 losses in the preseason have made the fans look forward to the new season of their own team. Roll up your sleeves and work hard, we are the team's last backing. This is a message that Portland fans want to convey to the home team players. Come on. Okay, coach. ×5. The Blazers are still an unstoppable starting 5. The Lakers are led by F4, plus a CI Shiping. Player, Dwight Howard. Height, 211 centimeters. Arm span, 224 centimeters. Body hidden attributes: lower body strength, 87, upper body strength, 95, speed, 84, burst, 92, physical fitness, 93, offensive ability, hits, 63, layups, 90, CIC, 54, dunks, 92, defensive ability, external defense, 76, internal defense, 95, rebounds, 96, blocks, 92, steals, 62, overall rating, 94, superstar, evaluation, an extremely rare superstar-level defensive insider. This has the potential to compete for the first defensive center in history, but unfortunately it was destroyed by injuries. Talent skills: defensive pillar, purple diamond, the jagged warrior, purple diamond, bronze wall and iron wall, gold, terminator, gold, 2 yellow and 2 purple talent and skill configurations, and 3 of them are defensive. 2-time block champion, 3-time DPOY champion, 4-time rebounding champion, and in Wang Zhelin's impression, Howard will be the 5th season of his career in rebounding in the 2012-13 season. This is Wang Zhelin's opponent in this game, a league superstar who is purely defensive-based, Dwight Howard. It is a pity that it is no longer Howard in the Magic period. At that time, he definitely had a comprehensive rating of over 95. Howard is undoubtedly the strongest player in the same position that Wang Zhelin has ever encountered. The former's strength is 2 levels higher than him. Fortunately, at this time, Howard has not yet developed his shooting ability. The 2-point shots from close range accounted for 59.4% of the total shots, and the 2-point mid-range and long-range shots accounted for 25% and 21.4%, respectively. There is no 3-point ability at all. Wang Zhelin felt that he could consider using his threatening mid-range shot to sneak him out. As long as this beast can get out of the 3-second zone, his teammates can get better opportunities to attack, and his task has been completed. Moreover, the opponent's lower body strength is only 87, which may also become a major breakthrough for him in this game.